Have you ever been to Germany? More specifically, the city of Cologne? I'd recommend it. Good food, hospitable people, and a pretty interesting culture. For example, if you drive through the southern arterial road and follow the River Rhine, you'll find a turning leading to Neumarkt. The city seems strangely empty around here, even at rush hour, which is weird as Neumarkt is home to a fair few shops and businesses. Park up and wander around, get your bearings too. These little winding streets can be pretty confusing, especially if you're running. When you feel comfortable, try to find a local and ask directions to the Kronenhaus Gallery. Now hold on a moment, don't roll your eyes. I'm not really into art or history either, but you will find this interesting. Kronenhaus Gallery specialises in the history of Cologne. They have a small library section downstairs and a series of paintings upstairs, which chart the development and various conquests that Cologne has seen over the past 1,000 years or so. I must stop here. I'm going to drop the pretense, because I'm getting tired of pretending. You're looking for him, aren't you? That Raff in a suit, the so-called Slenderman. The Germans call him der Grossmann. I bet he took someone from you, right? Or maybe you've been seeing him, and you just know that he will come for you soon. Whatever your story is, Cologne is the key. I'm not going to pretend that this will answer everything, or even give you specifically what you are looking for, but it might just help. And any piece of information you can get on that creature is a potential weapon. Head upstairs first. I know that there are many old photographs, some obvious fakes, some potentially real, which claim to be the oldest confirmed image of Slenderman. Some of them, like the Hans Holbein drawings from the 1500s, might be him. Forget it, all of it. The Kronenhaus Gallery contains pictures of the city from the medieval era, and he is in almost every single one. To the casual observer, he might be seen as a smudge, or a crudely sketched tree. But we know what we're seeing. The most explicit is a painting of unknown origin, depicting the Archbishop of Cologne, standing behind a huge group of knights about to depart into the Crusades. In the background, behind the Archbishop, there is one knight, partially obscured from view, wearing what seems to be a white helmet, and appearing taller than even those in the foreground. A lot of people would just shrug it off. It's just a trick of perspective, or he's riding a horse, so he's bound to be tall. Look at the proportions. There's no way that he's on a horse. He is so tall, most of his torso is actually visible over the heads of the other knights. That lance he's carrying too. It's almost twice the height of anybody else visible in frame. How could anybody use that on horseback? I actually brought along a magnifying glass and examined the Slenderman's head in the painting. By the way, this might interest you. It's not a helmet. It's a mask made of ivory. Weirdly though, when you think of knights and masks, you think of demonic visages to frighten foes and lower morale. His mask simply looked like a human face, at peace with everything and with its eyes shut, as though it were asleep or in prayer. It was almost angelic, really. Perhaps that is why he appears to have no face. The ivory mask has worn down so much over the years that it just appears to be a blank state of yellowed skin. Anyway, sorry, I should let you figure out all that stuff for yourself. I'm just going to give you facts. There's something else to see, if you've got the time. Head to the basement archive and ask to see their shipping logs. Even back in the medieval era, records of trade and tax were stringently kept. You ever see V for Vendetta? One thing is true of all governments. Their most reliable records are tax records. Sound familiar? Whatever. Anyway, find the book pertaining back to the year 1098 and flip right to the beginning. It's not in great condition. The book has suffered some damage when the gallery was destroyed in the Second World War. On this page, you might find that a ship, returning from the Crusade, brought a cargo of prisoners and slaves into the city. However, at the end of an entry, in a footnote, the record keeper notes in addition to the official cargo, for which the tax paid is recorded, the ship carried einen sehr großen Kaffee in dem einen Hafling. Roughly translated, it means a very tall cage containing one prisoner. There is no further record of a fee paid for this cargo, or where it went. There is one more picture, by the way. It's kept in a dark attic room to protect it from damage via exposure to light, and photography is strictly forbidden. It's a fragment from a tapestry, about 6 feet across and 2 high, depicting the knights from the Colonia fighting in the Crusades. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen tapestries like that, but they often appear as a storyboard of sorts, telling a tale for a sequence of smaller pictures. This section shows the fight for what seems to be the bridge of a castle, the Crusaders shielding themselves from arrows and slings as they try to fend off a scimitar-wielding heathens, that sort of thing. Anyway, towards the end of the story, the knights appear to be afraid, shrinking back behind their shields. Before them, bizarrely dressed in Crusader armour, what appears to be Slenderman stands, facing a large group of the defenders and holding a lance in his skeletal hands. The final image shows an empty bridge and the castle ramparts. No Turks, no Crusaders, no Slenderman. Even the bodies are absent. The curator told me that he believed the tapestry was unfinished, that its creator perhaps even died before its completion. I think that you and I know differently.